Okay, so tonight, the number one supplement, and I do not care if you're a teenager, I don't care if you are an infant even, I don't care if you're an adult, I don't care if you are a senior, doesn't matter. We are very, very deficient in this type of, and I will call it a vitamin. We are very, very deficient in it because of the cold season especially, but we as a society, we are finding different disease states that the things that I am reading, the people I talk to, the books that I read, experts in the field, functional medicine, holistic nutritionists, everybody that I really, really enjoy listening to. And it's not just that, it's in conventional medicine as well. Everyone will tell you this. We have a huge issue with diseases like autoimmune disorders, MS, we have cancer, we have diabetes type 1, we have thyroid disease. So if you suffer with Hashimoto's, this topic is huge. If you do struggle with Hashimoto's or you're experiencing it or know someone who is going through that. Especially with, I think, dementia and Alzheimer's, if I hadn't mentioned that before, rheumatoid arthritis, so RA, these diseases, you guys, these situations that happen to our body, this supplement tonight can really, really improve or simply just be very beneficial for what that person's going through and all those that I just listed. And again, I always have to come on here. They're very, very careful about pointing me in the right direction as a nutritionist, saying I'm not your doctor. I'm not prescribing any of this to you. I'm simply just giving you tips that I have learned that hopefully will be helpful to you. So I'm not prescribing anything to you. You have to consult your own physician when it comes to certain medications and things like that. But tonight we're not talking about medications, so I have all the freedom in the world to be talking to you as a nutritionist because a lot of times this is not really discussed. So this vitamin actually acts as a hormone. It is a fat-soluble vitamin, and the reason that we need it, especially in the winter, is because we are not outside as much as we are in the summer. And so truly our bodies get so deficient in this that we can start to see real havoc created in the body to where even autoimmune disorders can begin to trigger if we are not healthy, if we are not treating our bodies with the things that it needs. So tonight I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm also going to tell you how you can get it through foods, and then I'm also going to tell you how you can get it outside of foods, and then the most important thing that I feel like I should touch on, you guys, is how to know how much to take, because I can sit here and tell you what the number one supplement is, but if you don't know how much to take or how to calculate how much to take for your own body, it's going to be useless because you're going to take the information and then you're going to say, well, great, I know the answer, but then you're not going to know when to take it and how much. So that's what I will get to for tonight. Hi, Jenna. Thank you, girl. You like my shirt. Everybody likes my shirt. Hey, John, how are you? He says, what's up, homie? Tell your hubby hello. I will tell him that. I like interacting with you guys, and the comments are going really, really fast, so if I missed any, I will definitely go back and say hi to you guys. Okay, so let's jump in. The number one supplement that you need is vitamin D3. So D as in dog, number 3. Let's talk about the difference in what you're probably hearing in mainstream food and mainstream supplement and why we need to get away from what they are referring you to. So a lot of people, a lot of the food industry will tell you you are already getting enough vitamin D because you're getting it through things like your bread, your cereal, your orange juice, your milk, yogurts. And the things that they are telling you about that particular vitamin D is it is an enriched vitamin, so it is synthetic, and it is vitamin D2. So we don't want vitamin D2 because it's synthetic, and truly we don't really necessarily absorb the correct amounts of vitamin D because it's a synthetic form and it's all, yes, added to our foods. So that means truly it's not coming in its natural form. So we want to look for vitamin D3. That's very, very key, especially for parents that have children. Very, very important because most likely with our American diet, kids are getting vitamin D2. They probably are getting it in their orange juice. Even in our nut milks, like almond milk and things like that, they are adding vitamin D too. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it was a natural source of vitamin D3 that they would do, but honestly, they are not doing that. So we need to start to pay attention to that their body is not going to absorb the correct type of vitamin D when they are getting the enriched foods. So we want to look for vitamin D3, and I'm going to tell you the different ways that you can get them. But first, the thing that I want everyone to really pay attention to on why this vitamin D3 is so crucial is it actually, 8% of our genetic biome is controlled by vitamin D3. So if you think about that, our genes, a lot of people sometimes have the argument of, well, I was given these genes, so there's nothing really I can do about it. I personally don't believe in that. I believe that genes can be triggered. So it's almost like a switch. They can be turned on or they can be turned off. And I believe that there's certain things that we do that can turn those genes and flip them on to be activated, or that they're off. And I believe that's due to nutrition, environmental factors, sure, but I truly believe that we do have some control regardless of what genes are given to us. And so knowing that 8% of the genetic biome is controlled by vitamin D3 is really, really important. We also know that vitamin D3 can help contribute and help up to 2,000 different genes in our body. So that's really, really crucial because, like we talked about, the diseases in the beginning of the video, the autoimmune disorders, the MS, the cancer, the diabetes type 1, the Alzheimer's, dementia, I think I mentioned that one, RA, and then the thyroid diseases. Think about how much of that goes back to how our genes are flipping on and off, how much of that is really controlled with those 2,000 genes all kind of going crazy in our body. So I think that's really important and some good side notes for everybody to know. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water. And you guys are very, very sweet for joining me. That always makes me feel like I am valued and that you guys find the things that I bring to the table valuable, so I never want to take that for granted. So I always appreciate you guys taking the time to get on. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's go from a holistic nutritionist standpoint, because that's what I do. I focus on whole foods. I focus on finding the philosophy of food is medicine, food is fuel, and I want us to get the nutrients from food that the big food industry is not telling us because there's too many processed foods and boxed foods, and we're completely ignoring sometimes the raw nutrition that is provided to us. So if you have something to write down, it's really short. It's 4 items that are essential to get your vitamin D3 from. But if you're a note taker like me, you can write this down. So number 1 is egg yolk. If you have an egg allergy, this might not pertain to you, so you might want to skip it, but a lot of times it's the egg white that people are allergic to. A lot of times it's that casein, it's that the white part of the egg. So the yolk is still a really good, not only good healthy fat, but it's also a really rich source of vitamin D3. The other one is shrimp, and with shrimp I always recommend you get wild caught shrimp. You don't get farm raised shrimp, because the easiest way to think about that is anytime you have something that is farm raised as opposed to wild caught, nature provides the substance. So we didn't alter it. Yes, there's things in the ocean that can contaminate, yes, but if you have most likely farm raised things, most likely they're injecting those if they're getting an infection. Most likely they're injecting growth products to make that animal grow bigger so that the profit is larger and they have more faster turnover in their profit. Almost like, let's inject it, get it bigger, sell it, get it out the door, and repeat, repeat, repeat. So always wild caught. So we talked about egg yolk, shrimp. Okay, this one is funny, sardines. So people don't really like sardines, and I don't know why, because they're really cute and they're actually really, really good. And it's funny, my mom, I don't know why, but she used to eat sardines as a snack. And she used to put them on crackers, and I thought that was disgusting growing up. But now looking back, like, she actually knew what she was doing. Lots of omegas, lots of vitamin D3 in there. And so you can make them really good like she did. You can put them on crackers. You could put some lemon pepper seasoning on top of that. I think that's what she used to do. So, or you can make like a sardine salad sandwich. So instead of tuna fish, use sardines. So that's a great source. And then your fourth food. Hi. Oh, look. See, my Aunt Becky's on. See, she would know. Didn't my mom eat sardines when she was younger? I used to watch her, so I know for a fact that she did. And then the fourth one, you guys, is wild-caught salmon. So again, it's the same philosophy as shrimp. You don't want to buy the farm-raised salmon because the same thing. They are plumping those things up. They're adding probably antibiotics. They're adding probably growth hormones. Who knows if they're adding steroids because of what kind of situation those fish are in and if they're getting any kind of infection from each other. And so we want to get what is fresh from the ocean, and so wild-caught salmon, sardines, egg yolk, and shrimp. That is a great way to boost your vitamin D3 sources in the winter all year round, but I would definitely say from about October to maybe February, even into March, really start boosting those foods. It doesn't mean you have to eat them like every meal, every day, but we truly need that vitamin to boost it up. And then you guys know vitamin D3, if we're talking about those disease states that it can help with, it helps with our immune system as well. It helps regulate our white blood cells. It does so many things within our body to where if we are lacking it, we're not running at full capacity. So a lot of times if we are getting sick or if we're getting like a cold, like even right now I can kind of feel myself maybe getting a cold. So I'm going to do all of my like secret immune boosters that I've talked about here on the video. I'm going to start loading myself up. So I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to do it right now. And that way, hopefully I can beat it before it gets bad. And so I'm bumping my vitamin D3 up a lot, and I'm about to tell you how much I take, and I'm about to tell you how much you should be taking so that you guys know and you're not just blindly taking vitamin D3. My Aunt Becky says, yes, me too on the sardines, and I love anchovies. Ugh, yeah. So anchovies I think are great too. Anchovies, I think they just scare me for some reason, the look of them. But I used to think that about sardines, and now I eat them. So let's go ahead and talk about how much vitamin D3 you personally should be taking and how to know if you're low. So a lot of people can actually get this done through lab work. It's a simple little blood test. It's just like a Lancet at home. You can actually order independent labs. There's a lab called Life Extensions, and you can order that and actually take it in to either a local lab or you can take it to your physician's office. And sometimes you guys, like your PCP might be able to run this lab. I even know I would recommend a functional naturopathic physician that I love and follow a lot named Dr. Stephen Cabral. I can even link his information at the bottom of this when we're done talking. You guys, he has so many things on his website to where you could actually order a simple test, and it's pretty inexpensive through him. Do it through home, and he'll read your results. And he's a great person to learn from, and he's someone that I learn a lot from. So instead of spelling it out right now, I'll just link it at the bottom when I'm done talking. So how do we know if we're deficient in it? The answer is pretty much we all are, because we're not getting enough. Now, the things that I've learned about this is if you are not outside getting a basic tan almost weekly, you are deficient in it, because vitamin D3 acts as a hormone. So when you go outside and your skin is exposed to the sun, and it's not just your face and your head and your arms like a farmer tan, it's everything. Like they talk about, we used to live to where we could run around and have more exposure with our skin in the sun, and that's how the vitamin D produces in our body. So it's actually a hormone that's created. So if you think about it, most of us are inside of our workplace. Maybe we're in college and we're in classes all day long. As kids, think about in the winter, they are not outside in the winter as much as they are in the summertime. And so they're really getting deficient in that vitamin. And so really what we need to know is that it's okay to go ahead and supplement with the vitamin D3 supplementation as well as these foods that I've talked about, because pretty much we all know in the winter it's like 150% chance we're all deficient because none of us are outside as much as we need to be. And so one thing also that kind of stems from that conversation that I also think is important to touch on is a lot of us are led to believe, well, we can't be out in the sun for past 15 minutes and then we have to come back inside. We don't want to burn. Yes, of course, we don't want to burn. But a lot of times it would take a lot longer than 15 minutes for our skin to actually burn unless you are fair complected. But what we're doing instead is we are lathering our children, lathering ourselves in chemical carcinogenic sunscreens. So there's things in those sunscreens, you guys, that we are putting on ourselves. And if you know anything about the skin, it's the largest organ in our body, and anything you put on your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream. So there's two different types of sunscreens, and I actually did a blog on this. If you want to go back to my website, thepuresweatproject.com, I talk about the two different sunscreens. There's chemical sunscreen and there's natural sunscreen. The natural sunscreen actually contains things like zinc oxide that doesn't penetrate into the skin. It actually stays level on the surface, and so things aren't absorbed in, and there's better ingredients in that. So we are so conditioned to think that we have to slather ourselves up in SPF every single day all the time. And I'm not talking about like the light SPF. You're going to the beach, of course, we don't want to burn. But as a society, we're not going outside daily and getting the sun exposure that we need to have this vitamin produced in our body. And instead, we're just SPF, lather up, even if you're outside for 10 minutes. And I think it's kind of like an oxymoron when we're putting the really highly chemical carcinogenic ingredients on our skin and it's going straight into our bloodstream. So if you want to read about the good type of sunscreen that I recommend, just go check that out on my blog. It is on the blog section of my website, and I'll also link that below in the comments when we are done so that you don't have to look for that as well. So hopefully that will help. Is any of this making sense so far? Is it sounding crazy? Are you finding it helpful? Because now I'm about to tell you the last part about it, which is how much to take and how to calculate it. But if this is helpful, hopefully give me some thumbs up, give me some hearts to know if I'm just rambling to myself. Hi, Mandy. How are you, girl? I'm so thankful that you're on. Okay, there they are. You guys are so nice. Okay, I'm just making sure because I want to make sure that your time is valuable and that you're getting good information. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you guys, so how do we know this? Once you go and you get your actual lab range, so let's say you go take a test, and if you don't have a functional medicine physician, a naturopathic physician, whoever you may see, it may be an MD, it may be an ND or a DO, it may be just a nutrition clinic you go to. Find someone that can do a lab for you if you want to go this route. You don't have to get your labs run. You can always just supplement. But if you are somebody that's like, I want to know exactly where I'm at, you will be going to get this lab range results. And basically it's going to show for your vitamin D3 that you'll be between a 30 and a 100. Now we don't want to pay attention to those two numbers because basically that's saying, well, yeah, you could be between 30 and you could be between 100. But what they're not giving you and what you need to know is what is the optimal range so that you know you are at peak prime time advantage of your body utilizing the vitamin D3. So if you have your notes, you can still take down this part. You need to be between 50, so 50, and 70 nanograms per milliliters. So just worry right now about 50 to 70. That's where we should be to know that our body is absorbing it, we are utilizing it, and we are at good optimal levels. So I would say, again, I'm not your doctor, I'm just like recommending what I have learned and what I've heard. If you're below 50, you need to bump up your vitamin D3. If you're above 70, you could probably bring it back down a little bit. So if you want a supplement to get you in the optimal range, here's how you calculate it. I'm going to show you the bottle that we use, but first and foremost, the calculation, it's 35 IUs, and so the way they measure vitamin D3, I'll just pull out my nifty little bottle here of what we do. This is the brand that we get. You can get this, you guys, at Sprouts, Natural Grocers, Whole Foods, any kind of health grocery store or clinic or wellness center will have something like this. You can take the capsules, but I like the liquid drops. And the reason I like the liquid drops is because the dropper will actually be labeled to tell you exactly how many milliliters you have. I don't know if you can see that. And so you just pick it up and you squirt it. And this is what I do for my husband in the morning. So I actually get a cup already ready. I squirt in how many drops I know he needs, and then he puts water or orange juice or whatever he's going to drink in the morning, and then he takes that and whatever supplements he is going to take also that morning, he uses this, and that's how he gets enough vitamin D3 in his day. For kids, this is what we use. It's called Child Life Organic Vitamin D3 Drops. We got this, I think, at Sprouts or Natural Grocers, and this will tell you as well how many drops to take for the age of your child. So this even starts for infants from birth to 1 year of age, and then it gives you a different dose for children 1 to 12 years of age. So this is amazing. Stick it in their water, stick it in whatever they're gonna, you could even put it like in yogurt or applesauce to make sure that the little ones are actually going to eat it. So how they measure vitamin D3, especially in like liquid or wherever you get it, they measure it and it's gonna look right here, it's gonna say IUs, and so that stands for international units. So you want to use 35 IUs per pound of weight, or per pound that you weigh. So for instance, a lot of us as adults, we're gonna be between 4,000 and sometimes up to 5,000 IUs a day, depending on your weight. So if you are a heavier person, or let's say you're a big stout guy, more than likely you're probably going to be up to 5,000 IUs. For me, in calculating it, I'm under just under 4,000 IUs. So for me, I actually get this dropper. Every drop is 1,000 IUs. So I do 1, 2, 3, and I do a little bit of extra. That's all I do, and I add it to my water in the morning and I drink it. So for kids, my son, he's getting around anywhere between like 800 IUs is typically what he's getting. So for that little bottle I just showed you, he gets 2 drops in his water in the morning, and that's how I know he's getting the vitamin D3 that he needs, as well as cooking the foods that I've talked about earlier. So if you know you're deficient, and let's say you do lab work and you do see, okay, I'm below 50, you need to be on that supplementation they recommend and they suggest for 60 days, and then you need to retest. So go back through whoever you want to go to, your physician, your nutritionist, your wellness center, and get retested to see that your levels are back up to at least between 50 and 70. So again, you want to be between 50 and 70 nanograms per milliliters, and the way you divide that for your weight is 35 IUs per pound of weight. Does that make sense for everybody? That's good. Everyone can probably calculate that on their own, so you do need to know how much you weigh and make sure that you are calculating that correctly. And then you guys know, it doesn't matter if you're taking that and then you go and eat your really good foods that has the vitamin D3 in it. So that's what we do, you guys. There are new studies coming out showing how things like Alzheimer's are really, really being affected by our lack of vitamin D3. So there's a lot of things in the woodwork that's coming out just about the disease states that I talked about earlier. So if you are someone on here that has thyroid disease with the Hashimoto's, you really need to bump up your vitamin D3. I would even say if you have had cancer or you are currently going through the cancer treatment, MS, diabetes type 1, RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis, maybe you have a family member that's starting to show signs of dementia, and then if you are someone with cardiovascular disease, bump up the vitamin D3. There are tons of other things, you guys, that you could do with that. I think it's important right now to bump up your vitamin C, as in C. I don't know if that's backwards, because I'm backwards. Whichever one is a C to you guys. Vitamin C is really important. You need to be taking at least 1,000 milligrams right now, I think, in the winter, because everyone's got a cough. Everyone's got a runny nose. Kids are spreading their germs. Our pets' heads are falling off. So I don't know if you guys referenced that to the Dumb and Dumber movie. But so we really need to be taking in as much good nutrition as we possibly can to ensure that our bodies are at optimal prime position. Okay, so now I will go back through and make sure I have answered. So Julie says, do the drops change the taste of whatever you mix with it? No, they do not. So some of you guys might have picky kids who have like the taste buds of a superhero, and they can like taste anything that's different in what they're used to taking. There's no change in it. The only thing I will say is after you drop it in your water, you can actually see the formation of it. So it kind of has that oily look to your water. And so if your kids, are sensitive to that, even the look, put on like a sippy cup. This is for kids that are really younger, so that they can't look at it and just let them drink it. But there is no taste difference. So literally you can put it in water, your juice. You could even put it in your smoothie, you guys, in the morning. Mandy says, yes, yes, yes. Direct correlation, which I found out about after diagnosis. Because you guys, Mandy, she has just gone through cancer treatment and has done tons of, I can't remember, Mandy, have you done radiation and chemo? I couldn't remember if you've done both or one or the other, but she's a great person on here that I know has done a lot of research because she's been going through this process herself, and she's done amazing, and she's such a fighter, and I've been praying for her, and I'm so, so happy to have her on here. She says, get to starting my new vitamin supplementation regimen in December. Yay! Yay, I love that. So that means a lot coming from someone who has been going through that. Mandy says, chemo is done, halfway done with radiation. Well, I think you're a warrior. I think you're amazing. And so I know you know a lot about these things as you've been researching. So it does have a direct correlation, you guys. Things are linked together. Everything kind of connects in the body. And when one thing is off, it leads to others. And so that's why I think it is really essential that we do come on here together and we talk about things that you may not be hearing. And maybe you are hearing this, but hopefully I've given some more in-depth information. So this is what I do, you guys, times 200 when I lead the online nutrition programs that I lead. So I won't make this about selling that or anything like that. I just want you to know that this is what I'm passionate about, and these are the type of things I share in the program. So the next program starts January 8th. It's a 4-week-long program, and we talk about everything including this type of topic. So if you haven't checked out my website, go to thepuresweatproject.com and click on the Pure Body Reset. I talk a lot about what the program is, the details, and how you can get signed up. But I think that's it. I think that I've discussed the vitamin D3. If you haven't watched or you're just joining on, go back and watch the replay. If you guys would share this on your page, if you found it helpful, that helps get the word out so more people can know how to bump up their vitamin D3, because maybe they haven't heard of this before. And then I think next health chat, you guys, I'm going to be talking a little bit more, I believe, on the topic of, do we have to consume meat to get our protein. It's a really hot topic. I get lots of messages about it. My nutrition group always asks, how do I get more plant-based protein? So I won't give all the full disclosure and details because I save that for my program members, but I'm going to give a few tips on how you actually can get a really good source of protein going more plant-based than getting it through animal meat. If that's something that interests you, I think that's the next topic that I will be doing it on. Oh, thanks, Julie. Julie was a participant. She says, Pure Body Reset is awesome. She was in my test group. You guys, she lost over 10 pounds. It's not a weight loss program at all. I don't advertise that, but when we clean out our bodies and we reset it and we teach about ingredients and we talk about the foods that you can still enjoy and buy at the grocery store, your body starts to change. Things start to change and just all over your mood, your energy. And so she had amazing, amazing results. She is on fire. She's awesome. So thank you, Miss Julie. That is it, you guys. I will let you go. Enjoy your night. Rewatch the replay. Share on your page. As always, if you don't know who I am, the only reason I started talking about this is because of my love as a certified nutritionist in the category of being more holistic, which is actually the title of it. So you guys have an amazing night. Thank you for joining in, and I will see you on the next health chat. Bye-bye.